Hi there, it's Kristen from Gorgeous Knits. In this video, I'm going to show you how to knit the herringbone stitch. A few things I want to mention before we get started. The herringbone stitch looks like this, and it's a really nice textured stitch. It makes your work more like thick. It gives a nice thickness to it. It's great for scarves or hats. I imagine even sweaters would be really nice because this is a nice thick stitch, so it would definitely keep warm. And the herringbone has sort of this sideways zigzag V kind of thing going on, which is a really nice stitch to look at. It's one of my favorites. Okay. Other thing I want to mention about the herringbone is to work the stitch, you want to make sure you cast on an even number of stitches. So I have 24 casted on for this sample here. And also when you're working with the herringbone, you want to make sure that you use a needle size that's a little bit larger than what you would generally use for the yarn you're using. So for example, if you're working with a worsted weight yarn, typically you would use a size, a US 7, 8, or 9. You may want to go with more like the 9, 10, maybe even an 11. Only because the stitches get a little bit tight as you're knitting them. So you want to make sure you have a little bit of give when you're working with your yarn and your needles. And also the herringbone kind of squishes inward as you're knitting it. So like I said, I have 24 on here. What started out as a bit wider towards the bottom, it's now starting to get a little bit narrower as I work my rows. And that's just the nature of the herringbone. It's just because the technique that you're using to make it is a matter of crisscrossing stitches over each other, and so it's just kind of, it starts to get a little bit narrower and a little bit tighter. All right, so let's get started with how to do this. Alrighty. So your first stitch you want to knit, oops. There we go. Nope, there we not go. Having some trouble. This is the easiest part, and yet. All right, there. Okay. Okay. Slip the next stitch. Knit the next. And then you're going to take that slipped stitch and pull it up and over the knit stitch. Like this. Up and over, almost as if you're binding off, but you're not. You're going to leave that stitch on your left hand needle. Don't drop it. Because then what you're going to do is knit through the back loop. So let's do this again before I continue. Take your slipped stitch, up and over, and you're going to knit through the back loop. Okay. You're going to just repeat the slip stitch and the knit one and slip over and knit through the back loop until you have one stitch remaining. So let's do this again. Nope. I'm already doing this wrong. Slip, knit, pull the slipped stitch up and over, knit through the back loop. Okay. Slip, knit, up and over and through the back loop. Yeah, see how it's getting tight on me. All right, I'm going to continue that to the end of my row. This is row 1, and then I will show you how to work row 2. Okay, so I've knit across and I have 1 stitch remaining on my left hand needle, so I'm just going to knit that last stitch. Okay, so that's how you work row 1. Row 1 are the odd rows, so you would just repeat row 1 for all odd rows. Turn your work. So now we're looking at the wrong side of the work, and we're going to work row 2. And row 2, you would repeat for all the even rows. Okay, so you're basically going to purl 2 together all the way across, but you're not going to drop the stitch off the left hand needle. You're going to then make another purl in between that purl 2 together. So let me show you what I mean. So insert as if to, you're going to purl 2 together, but you're not going to drop these stitches off your left hand needle. What you're going to do is you're actually using your pointer finger, you're kind of gonna, and your thumb if needed, you're going to separate those 2 stitches that you purled 2 together, and you're going to purl in between them. So I'm going to insert so that my right hand needle is in between those 2 stitches, and I'm going to purl again. Now you can slip both stitches off. This is the first one. I always find is the most challenging because it's on the edge of the work. Once you move in the row more, it seems to get a little bit easier. So let's do this again. Purl 2 together. Leave your stitches on the left hand needle, separate those 2 that you purled together, and you're going to purl in between them. So you're only purling the 1 stitch that's towards the edge. Okay, and now you can push those 2 stitches off. Again, purl 2 together, go in between, purl again, and push off. So you're going to repeat the purl 2 together and then the purl in between for all of row 2 till you reach the end, and then you're going to turn your work and you're going to work row 1 again, and you're just going to repeat rows 1 and 2 over and over, and that's how you knit the herringbone stitch. And that's how it should look for you as you work your repeating rows of 1 and 2. So that's all. that's how you knit the herringbone. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm Kristen from Gorgeous Knits. Thanks so much for watching.